So, the story you are about to engage in or see is true, and no names are given, because we're all innocent. And just many of us have no idea. Being trapped hook, line, and sinker into this thing that we just can't see it. It's the immersion is so deep when you're immersed from your innocent days of discovery as a child, pedophile at that age, by the word. It's ingrained in you, and to disassociate yourself from it while still being a party to it is a difficult thing. But to disassociate yourself and actually see it at face value is a very freeing thing, man. Let me tell you. There's no freedom like knowing, emptying your head of the garbage. I'm getting ready to fly. We dreamed of flying as kids, and we had no preconceptions of flight as children. So I think there's some inherent value in that. And I'm looking forward to flying. Just gotta clear my head, like a raven gets the eagle to do. So, most think I'm way out there. So here we are, still on the campus, in the sports area. You know, all the games happen here. And of course at this place of academia. But when I say acamedia, I see it right before my eyes. And here's where the pros start casting delusion with all the pretty colors. Bags and bags and pretty colors. But just pay attention to the ac, because it's acamedia, not academia. Now here we are in the center of what will be the rugby pitch, you know, with a rug. And we just passed the football pitch where they have a ball that they kick with their foot. It's round. And that's the eng-leash, right? They created a game, rugby, which is both hand, egg, and football combined in a jam-packed action sport. But football is a game played with the foot and a ball. And it should be noted that in order to really see the deception, you have to understand that football played by hand with an egg-shaped thing just ain't gonna roll. Get it? Bah, see a ball. Bah, see a ball. Skid a ball. Skid a ball. Bah, skid a ball. Don't forget the bacon. Every bit of it. Okay, here we go again. The Signs in Plain Sight series. I don't know what part this is. Some part. I've done it so many times. Anyway, we've just left the college campus, or the university campus, the UBC. All capitalized letters, don't forget, so they have meaning. And within the campus, I came down some road between University Boulevard, with an S, and Chancellor Boulevard, of which I'm standing upon. I crossed two streets which are between there. One is called Collage High Road, as some of you may refer to as college. Those thinking people will, of course, call it a college, not a collage of information before your eyes that's indiscernible because you've actually not been witness to any of it. It's all lesson. They try to sell sun with less sun. As the sky is cloudy today,
I still know that the sun is out and do not need to be sold sun with less sun. Also between there is campus, which some will say is campus, a place of study. But when you just pass the collage, you got to know that the next word is camp, and that it's you who is going to be fooled. So we've come out of a place called the Endowment Lands, a Pacific spirit of park. An endowment, if anyone would bother to know what it means or ask when you come onto this campus across Blanca, why do you clear your head? So you can be sold. So the endowment is all of this. This is nature, provides quite the bounty. There's a number of animals that live here as well. Man can forage in here and sustain himself year in, year out. Also contains mushrooms from the earth, knowledge from the earth. Anyway, we departed the forest and we come out here to Tasmania. Tasmania and Chancellor Boulevard. Of course, all the letters are capitalized, so they all have specific functional meaning. Lowercase letters have action meaning. Uppercase letters are functional meaning. If you doubt me, put yourself into the position of arm, leg letters. So you are an I. Now bend over forward to be an N. Do it the other way and you become a U. Double it, you're a W. When you're doubled, it means you're sold. So an N is niggardly. You're bent over, back breaking. An M is a double nigger. You are subjecting yourself willingly to such servitude. Anyway, let's look at Tasmania, which, when you split it back and front, is sat and mania. So while you're sitting, all this mania is going on around you. And as you read these words, without being witness, you're causing yourself to believe. And within belief is a lie. Belief, belie. And faith is but fate, accompli. But also in there, and Chancellor, we have sell, man. Sell, man, or. Right? So we have a layout here of the gold and the oil that they're selling you. They're selling you dirt, basically. Now, also Tasmania, what connotation does that name have? In reference to anything to do with this university campus, the University of British Columbia, the UBC, when there is no referral here. This is Tasmania, and the only reference that I can demonstrate is from cartoons, and that is the Tasmanian devil. Of course, I think that's what they call the animal from down under. And the next road is called Queensland. So that kind of backs this up in the spell, if you were, or will, or want. You can see that in the spell. But we've also come off of the campus, the academic campus. Or is it the acometic campus? And Chancellor. Now, within the campus, they use colors to represent the different faculties. So, red being blood is of the body, medicines. Green is nature around us, the stuff from the soil and the soil itself. And that's business, and it's the business to manage nature. And the blue is of the... I should have checked the blue, actually. I'd like to say it's of the water, but it has something to do with biological function. You have the yellow, which is the alchemical process, the chemistry. Actually, blue is probably physics. The body, yes, the mechanics, right? The mechanical aspects. So yes, blue is the body. And orange is genetics. That's the mixing of the alchemical yellow with the blood, man. Or all of the animals, in fact. I guess all of Earthling. So is there a chance that while they use colors on the campus, in the faculties, or to play on your faculties, is there a chance that lore, our co-lore that we share, is the methodology by which they conduct this little project of capitalizing upon us and providing us with HIV and AIDS, which is nothing but a hive and aid. So we'll carry on. With just pause between spots, we'll be passing Queensland, and we'll carry on from there. So here we come upon Queensland to back up the Tasmanian devil bit, and not to cloud over things, but to provide actual witness to what I'm seeing. This isn't rhetoric and bullshit and dialogue and some printed shit on paper. The same paper that you'll wipe your ass with. That's how good fucking stuff is. And just to show, see, it's cloudy, so I don't need to be sold sun just because there's less sun, because I'm fully aware that there is still sun. So because of that, I'm one who's lived, and they give you the word, which is the devil, spelled backwards, right? It's that easy. See and spell with David. Let's play. This is the Achamedia, which you fall for. On that side is Drummond. And that's our natural rhythm. We hit things. It's like bang the rocks together, guys. That's pretty much it. And so, because we lose sight of that lore that we have, our natural rhythm, our timbre and tone that we give over to weight and tome in the collage high road. So this is the high road. This is the delusion, the way to delusion. This is the gold, the oil, and drugs. This road goes right up to the university, to the Achamedia, and it gives you the basics of how to sell this whole charade of the word. Over there is the golf course, where the captains of this new industries learn to flog their balls, as old captains of the sea flogged their mates. And now we'll leave the universe city, the universe city, the one city. The city with an S, though, where they sell you the sea. And do you read the next word? Some of you are reading it in whole, but it does say end. End, O, ment. Do you know what that is? End, O, ment, lands. Maybe we'll come back to that later, because that seems ponderous, doesn't it? And you can call it endowment, but nobody knows what endow means. But while you're all saying, oh, what the fuck? Dope! Looking at Homer.
And here we're on Blanca. This street is the entry point to the endowment lands. And Blanca, you know, it means white, pure, innocence. But when you cross into the campus, is it that you go blank? Say, as if you know nothing and need this less sun? So Blanca, the white, the pure, the innocence. And you can cross it in innocence if you know the rights. And one thing we do is we, by nature, look and turn to the right first. And we also yield to the right. And when we come upon the traffic circles, I'll explain more, but those are the rules of the traffic circle, is that you yield to the right. And so when we see things on the right, we yield to them as though they're a truth, a truism, because this is our common sense. So you can cross this line and head down this hill in innocence, or, as most do, in no sense. Let's ride. So I was just looking at the university endowment land sign again, and not only do I see the wooden men nailed to the cross in the center, I also see Rev in U city, for the sin city, of course, the S city that relies on the C to capitalize upon you. So we got the university, or a revenue city, or city revenue, because after all, the riches all go to the Vatican, or the Anglican. Formerly went to the Budokan, who provided the mechanism of the charade, the ability to do as the shadow knows, cloud men's minds, so they're hypnotized, they can hear, but they don't really see anything. And so I see the revenue city for the wooden men nailed to the cross in denial. That's what I see there. And this is huge deception, this play on words. We came out of where the institution, the faculties, where they train you in faculties, as if your five senses or six senses were not faculty enough. They train you in faculty, and it's all capitalized. You're completely capitalized upon. But out here in the other world, they only capitalize the first letter. So you think they're proper names, perhaps, or proper title, but when in fact they're just capitalizing on your ignorance, because, as this sign says, told me, it's a recognition on the right. You're going to yield to that. You are going to accept the toll to pay to live, to earn your living. And of course, the Anglican church is right across the street, just to help anchor this whole thesis that's going on. In the West Point gray. And point says peon. On the cross, you're angry, but you don't know, why. So, yeah, does anybody look at words this way? Or is it just me? I don't know. I think it's a pedophilia on the mind if you chain some child to a book. You take away their sense of discovery and issue upon them all these letters, and all of those letters are capital. And so they are easily fooled by the whole system, which can prey upon them and capitalize upon them. And it's
don't forget, all words have two meanings. What was the Zeppelin song? Stairway to Heaven. And that stairway we'll get to near the end of this first part of the tour today. But now we've come from the right, our natural tendency, and we're in the traffic circle. We yield to traffic on the right, and we go to the right. But here on the left-hand side is the Sassamat. Now the SAS, which stands for Security Assault Service, or some such acronym, is the police, the Stasi. And a mat is, of course, something at the door that you wipe your soiled soul upon. And I forgot to mention that we're on 8th. Crazy 8. Infinite. Fine 8. Fate, if you follow that fate. But Sassamat is here on the left. So we're not looking for it, because we yield to those things on the right. So this is unexpected coming our way. And it has unexpected consequences which you don't see, because we have tendency in our common sense to look right and to yield to that which is right. And so we're blindsided by stuff that comes the other way. But because they're behind us, or we've caught them out of the corner of our eye, we're now leery of them. And we start to tremble. And we looked left again because, well, that's where they came out. They blindsided us on the left side, so you got to do a double take. And if you double take again, there's the Anglican. Now that you're trembling and you have the police behind you, their next road of avenue is to implicate you. So the first thing you should do is, if approached, is to ask them to state their intentions so that you have a direct understanding of what's going on. Because they will try every way to implicate you, every which way they can. Intention or implied. And it's all implications, because they need, even though you're innocent, you're in no sense because you're trembling, and so you forget. And so they have the ability of discovery. But there is nothing to discover, and you should just ask yourself why. And still the crazy 8. And after discovery, well, they've now got something on you. And after discovery comes court. But still, you have an out. And you can yield to the right, is our natural tendency. But the sign says court and nay. So it tells you that it's not. You don't need to go to court. If you're in innocence, you're okay. And you have the green field, which is all open to the water and beyond, or the cold steel veil. You can yield to the right, or you can step out any time, and I'll show you the way to leave. Now all this drama and A-class bullshit is the crap of the crown.
And it's a crescent that goes round. But there's still an escape out the other side. And the crown tries to lay some heavy shit on you. Like you're supposed to bow down to them, like they own everything. Well, they don't. This is our green earth, not some made-up wordplay green earth. We're what matters. Witness. Witness. And the other end of the crown that goes round, sits flat on the ground. You don't have, and while you'll yield to it because it's on the right, you don't have to understand it or stand under it. You can get up and walk away. And even though they try to obscure your vision with tall hedge, it's nothing to climb over and be beyond and away. It's magic, but it's a terrible magic, that evil magic. The magic of light is an illumination. The magic of light is getting rid of the weight off your shoulders. Now we come to Wallace. One way is law, but we yield to the lace, which takes us up to 10th, because Wallace is a crescent, and at the end of the crescent is 10th. So you have many tenths. You have the past, you have the present, and you have the future tense. And it makes you tense. So you can follow the lace, which is the dangly thing in front of you, which entraps you in the law. And one would expect, because we're on 8th, and 8th goes straight, that this, going left to our escape, we can check out any time, but we can never leave. Well, that street to the left becomes 8. And this ahead, the broad way, is 9. Another no. So in order to check out any time and make your leave, you must step twice to the left. Left, left, leave, right, left. Get it? Left, 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 right, left. Those aren't directions, and they're not orders that give instruction to men who have 2 feet, because they know how to walk. It's always right, left, left, right. It does not matter, one after the other. So when you say left, left, it means you have to leave twice. You have to double down to actually leave the right to the left. Because don't forget, they sneak up behind you on the left. And now we come to Highbury. And all that authority that was over you, that you understood, this is where they bury it. This is the end of that line. You think it's gone, buried, forgotten. Well, this is where it can be, if you so choose it to be. But many don't. And so we will come to Alma. And does Alma matter? Well, there is some matter in Alma. And we'll find out. Alma. So at this point, 8 became 9, and 9 became Broadway,
And lace took us to tense because we're following the lace. The law, of course, makes us tense. And now that we're done with alma, we might be done with Dunbar. But heavens no, they have something else for us instead. And this one is really fun.
I got the car fixed. And they cleaned it as well. Oh yeah, no, they cleaned it.
So now we're at Collingwood. And a calling is, of course, a calling. And wood, well, most of us think it's a post, and you only have, and most are dumber than a post. That's how they get entrapped by the pole ice, because post, pole, pretty much the same thing. And ice is basically a non-substantial product. There's nothing to it. It melts and goes away. So here at Collingwood are the ones who take up the call of the word. And we've gone through the word of law. Now we'll go through the word of mystery. And wood, of course, if anybody would look up what wood means other than post, it means maniac or insane. So there's a bunch of people who've answered a call. Usually it's to the Lord. And yeah, or the crown. They answer a call to the crown or to the Lord. And here we go. So the colors that we use are blue, white, red. They're kind of the dominant colors, and we taint them with the yellow. But here we have Waterloo, and some of you think it's a battle somewhere, but look at it. Waterloo. So water would refer to, of course, water, the blue, and the sky with blue, because elementally they're the same thing. And a loo, of course, we all know that Sir John Crapper or some shit developed a toilet. But a loo, of course, is a toilet. And what's the Waterloo? Well, it seems to be a desecration of that which is natural by giving us the artificialness of color to disturb our faculties with academia that we think that the blue has some other meaning. And now we're at Blenheim. Most have no idea what it is. And it's another one of these circle for jerks. Well, Blenheim is a small English toy dog. A spaniel, red and white. The other colors, the Christian flag colors, red, white, and blue. And you got the crown and the creed. The greed people who take your mind. And to back up the Blenheim and the Christian cross and the red and white, the blood on the innocents, we come to Trutch. And Trutch is but church. And church is misspelled. But you would not want to point that out to the church, because they will get cross. And so we go. And we've had the Waterloo and the Blenheim too. we have the balaclava, which as Canadians know, is something that goes on your head and usually falls down and covers your eyes. You have to roll it up to see. The balaclava. And now we come to Bayswater. And we all know what the bay is. It's hard not to think of the bay. And they seemingly are laying claim to the water. It's Bayswater. And if anybody doesn't know, the Bay is the largest incorporated company in the Americas. And of course, every corporation will do with it, with what they want, with what they please, or how they please. And so the water, they could care less. And so the pollution. But that's okay, because we come upon MacDonald. And well, old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some chickens with a cluck cluck here and a fucking cluck cluck there and a here a cluck and there a fucking cluck and everywhere a fuck cluck cluck. And I think he had some pigs too. Oh, that bacon. Ah, yes, bacon. Francis Bacon. But nobody sees the eng-leash around their neck. No, these are words. They don't mean what they mean. David, you're out to lunch. Well, old MacDonald had a farm. And then came Stevens. And who isn't in the exercise craze? Stepping wildly on a machine going nowhere. As after a day of sitting in a little cube, pecking away on your little keyboard. Ooh, battery cages. Who's the battery though? You are. They're sapping your energy. And now we come to Trafalgar, the circle in the square, because Trafalgar is but a square. And it's all just crazy eights all the way. But from here it's okay, because all the streets are now forests. And what's behind you? Well, you'll never see that force for the trees. You'll never see the force for the trees. Larch. It's a larch. All the trees are come up here. There's a whole bunch. And then we get to bushes and shrubs. And when we get something important, I'll let you know. And here, the street called U, they point you, finally, to 7th. And you're no longer in the realm of the crazy 8. From now on, your fate is in your hands.
So a little conclusion to that little episode of UBC downhill and into the trees on my way to Burnaby. Now, UBC is in Vancouver, and it could be said Van cover. And what van are they covering? Well, the Duchy.
of course. And how do you get past the duchy? Well, you pass on the left-hand side, don't you now? But then we get to, that's our one university. And we go through the city of Vancouver, and we get to the Cass Sierra. The C and S. C a S. Or S a C. It doesn't matter. It's all the snake and the capitalism can be. And so we've left the A group, the Vancouver, and we've come up the hill to Boundary Road into Burn a B. Now Boundary looks over Vancouver, and you have to climb a very steep hill to get to the Boundary, which has allegory all over it. But you get into Burnaby, and that's the B side. So there's more tension. It's a working class, not this academia class, right? And you have the Boundary, so you have all the people, the forestry, the fishery, the refinery. And interestingly enough, that's where the oil refinery and where the depot is that we send oil offshore from Canada. One of the locations is in Vancouver Harbour, in Burnaby. And that's my next story, because it's quite fascinating. The roads going east to west, as well as the ones coming north, going south. For instance, we start with college names. I'm not sure the first college, but the second that I know is Trinity College. So we have the Ministry, relating again to the Boundary. And then we got Eton College, I believe, or is it McGill then Eton? And then we get to a little higher class. You know, like we go across, if you go north to south as well as west to east, well, remember we're reading right to left to right, you come to like is it Ingletown? Something clicked in Ingleton. I'll have to look at it again when I'm writing. Anyway, and then we start getting into the universities, the higher educations. So you get to Cambridge and Oxford. And then again we get to McDonald going east, and various streets like Rosser. So Rosser is sore, raw, sore. Either way you look at it, you're sore. And the roads going from north going south are about the colleges, and the ones coming from east or west to east, they seem to relate about humanity. So you got Esmond, Esmond, kind of says he's man. And I don't recall the second street. But anyway, that's going to be my next video, is to take those college letters, or the Burnaby, the B side, the ones who do the managerial work. You know, they're not the captains of industry, they're the managerial, administration, the administrators, that crap. The engineers, back-end engineers, like the flow type engineers, power engineers, not the ones who draw the straight lines and put calculations to them. So we go from the UBC, from the A to the B, where the S gives you the big FU at Simon Fraser University. Stay tuned, that should be exciting, at least for me.